TWM Podcast.
Takeover Trees is behind us. We've had our hearts broken, but we soldier on towards AEW Revolution, which is just 10 days away on February the 29th. The first 29th of February. For 4 years, it's a leap year, and we all love leap years. And it's only a short time away, and we're straight on the road to NXT TakeOver Tampa Bay. I'm your host of your podcast on this wet and windy Thursday. George, hello, how you doing? And I'm joined by the shaman of stories, Brad Cassidy. That is your new nickname. I came up with that earlier, and I was well proud of myself.
I love that nickname, yeah. Hello, yeah. You did a great job of the show without me. I was listening to it, sort of without being on it, but it was as good as usual. So hopefully we can keep that up.
Yes, let us continue on this wonderful trend of podcasts because we're just that damn good here at TWM. Before we do get into it, let's get the admin bits out of the way. Do subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, and YouTube. TWM podcasts are also brought to you by We Love Sport, the fantastic app for finding your nearest sports bar showing the latest WWE pay-per-views. I believe the next one coming up would be WrestleMania. It's so easy to find them because they've got over 400 of the best sports bars and pubs in the UK at your fingertips, allowing you to book front row seats so you do not miss a thing. You can download their app, the We Love Sport app, from the App Store or Google Play, and also follow them on all social media as We Love Sport, at We Love Sport UK, and check out their website, welovesport.co. Additionally, TWM is a podcast, we've also joined forces with WrestleCrate, the original and best monthly wrestling subscription service, to bring you a fantastic deal. If you go over to WrestleCrate.co.uk right now and use the code TWM Wrestling, you'll get yourself a free autographed item for your first month. If you continue to subscribe, you'll get another autographed item in your second box. And again, if you do that for the third month, you'll get a third autographed item thanks to WrestleCrate. That's using the code TWM Wrestling at checkout at WrestleCrate.co.uk. I believe the next month coming is Jon Moxley, if I am correct in remembering. I can't remember who it is the following month, but if I am right, Jon Moxley is the one we're getting for the March box. We'll start off with NXT because we always do. So with NXT, one of the biggest stories we had going on at the moment, not including NXT TakeOver Portland, was the return of Dream. And obviously they set up a match between Dream and Roderick Strong for this week's NXT. Brad, surely the Dream is the heel in this situation.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, he's definitely he's attacked him. He's taunted him by putting his wife and his daughter on his trunk.
Son.
His son. Sorry, but yeah, it's very Rick Martelli, and yeah, it's fun to watch. But I can see why you would perhaps put him as the bad guy in this situation.
Yeah, it's just the way he does it. It's just Dream being Dream, really. We had a promo from the whole of the Undisputed Era earlier in the night, mainly Adam Cole speaking about how everyone has tried to take the title off him, and who's going to be the next challenger. I think everyone's saying Dream. I'm saying Balor. I'm going out there and saying Finn Balor. We'll go with that one. He gives over the mic to Roddy, and says, talk. Basically, just talk. As Roderick has the mic in his hands, Dream doesn't come out. He just has some really psychedelic image of himself on the screen and purple lights, and he just basically says, "Leave your boys at home and be a man for Marina." And then says something. I can't remember what he said specifically about Marina and Dream having coitus, because that is Dream's thing of just saying, "I'm going to bang your wife."
I've just realised this watching this sort of events transpire. Though he's basically just a rip-off of Prince, isn't he?
Yeah. He's a combination at the moment. He's a combination of Rick Rude and Prince.
Yeah, it's just the best way to describe it. But it's brilliant to watch, and he's doing amazing work, I think.
Yeah, no, he is fantastic. Let's jump to the match a little bit later on. Dream's attire was really interesting. It was like a jumpsuit, but was bright blue with white. It looked like a cloud and clouds and a sky, and it was like really, really weird. He takes it off, and underneath he's got his tights with Marina Shafir's face on his ass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How is that a babyface thing to do exactly?
It's not. It's not. In the end, the Undisputed Era do come down and attempt to distract Dream. He just hit the Dream Valley driver onto Roddy, so he was going for the Purple Rainmaker. Instead of jumping onto Roddy, he jumps onto all three members of the UE, gets back into the ring, is hit with Roddy's big knee, but does kick out at 2, hits a Dream Valley driver, and he picks up the pinfall, which I was quite surprised about. I thought they may have gone Roddy to get the win first because of him being verbally abused by Dream, but then I can also see why they've done it, because it's Dream's first match back since his injury. Roddy obviously focused a lot on the back because that was the injury that Dream was out with, and then following the match he got mugged by the whole of the Undisputed Era, hit with a high-low and end of Heartache.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely. Well, watching it live, it was. He did win the match, admittedly, but you wouldn't know it from the end of the show at all. No, you wouldn't. Yeah, you would not have thought he would have won it. We also got a development from what happened at NXT Takeover Portland. Obviously, if you guys haven't seen it, head over to WWE Network and go watch it, because it was a fantastic show. It's probably one of the best ones that they've ever done. Johnny Gargano turned heel, and obviously on Tommaso Ciampa, and cost him the NXT title. Ciampa addresses what happened with Gargano. He says he knows why he did it, and Johnny knows why he did it as well. It's not like a typical your best friend just turned heel on you, standing in the ring, calling you out. Come on, he was like he'd sort of come to terms with what happened. Austin Theory was in the ring as well, who I think they said was a friend of Gargano's. I think he was scheduled to have a match, but he just got interrupted by Ciampa because he wanted to talk. He tries to take the mic of Ciampa. Ciampa lamps him and then continues talking. And then Ciampa just destroys him. He absolutely batters Austin Theory. Yeah. Throws him like a pinball machine back and forth against the barricades. Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah. Ciampa also says that what he wants to do is eradicate NXT of Johnny Gargano. So we're probably going to get a loser leaves NXT match at Tampa Bay between the two of them. Is what I'm going to go with.
I mean, I hope not, because both of them have said that they don't want to go main roster. So that means that one of them's not going to be in NXT anymore. I think the reason why they said they didn't want to go to the main roster was because of the travel schedule and that sort of stuff. But now WWE have now reduced the amount of house shows that they're doing. They both may have changed their mind. Potentially, yeah, but I hope, because I know Tommaso Ciampa. I'm going a bit behind the scenes here, but I know Tommaso Ciampa has had quite a few injuries. He struggles quite a bit with that, so I'm hoping this isn't him retiring. But if it is, it's a way to go, I think, against his most famous rival.
Oh yeah, it's like his best friend turned bitter rival, turned best friend turned bitter rival. But he's only 34, so he's quite young to retire. But obviously, like you say, he's had so many injuries to his head and neck and the vital parts of your body.
It'll be a shame, but that's if I'm going to do a prediction now, that's what I see happening. Unfortunately, WrestleMania is the best weekend to do it as well.
Oh yeah, it's I can see it being the main event of Takeover Tampa Bay, and I would actually call it the Ciampa wins, Gargano appears on Monday Night Raw on Monday, because even like they say they don't want to be on the main roster. The amount of house shows has now dropped from 4 a week to now 1, I think maybe 2 max. So I think Gargano may be happier. It's just me guessing and fantasy booking. Last night we also additionally got the Broserweights defeating the Britain Brawlers, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, who I definitely forgot were a thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've been on 205 Live, I believe, haven't they? But I don't think they've done much past that point.
I don't watch 205 Live.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Keith Lee was in the ring. How about to cut a promo, obviously following his win in the rubber match against Dominik Dijakovic at Portland. He's interrupted by Conor Reeves, who basically just is about to speak, gets hit, gets lamped again, hit with a big bang catastrophe, gets pinned.
I mean, what's Conor Reeves going to do after this point? I mean, I've not seen him in months, in weeks anyway, and And this was just nothing. This was like a complete squash. I have no idea how he's going to bounce back from this at all.
Yeah, he's when you're in the ring with someone of Keith Lee's stature, not in terms of his size, in terms of his actual like current standing in WWE, not just NXT and WWE, you're gonna be like down the bottom. Well,
it's the destruction of Austin Theory and Conor Reeves.
Difference is Austin Theory has a lot more potential. I think.
Fingers crossed.
Dominic Dijakovic does come out, but he says he's not ready to move on, which is hilarious. It's like a couple that's broken up, and everyone in the crowd starts R-ing at him because of the way he says it. I mean, he wants another match for the North American title. Keith Lee says, if you can get Regal to do it, I'm down. Is basically what he says. So we're going to get another match between these two of PWG style wrestling because. Yeah, so I think it's 2-1 to Lee, I think, in their series. So I think it's going to go 3-1. I can't see Dijakovic beating Lee for the title yet. Couple more months.
I will happily go with along with the chant of getting the fight forever between them.
Yes. That was so good. That was a great. I don't like that chant. It annoys me a lot. But that was like the only time I've ever heard it. I'm like, it was good placement. Well done, Keith Lee. Getting the crowd on it. What else did we get last night? Oh, that was it. We got the announcement. 2 weeks time. Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, 1-on-1 in a steel cage match. I am so excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I was watching a show at the same time as this was announced, because I'm not going to lie, what I used to do was I used to watch this one, a bit behind the scenes for you here, I used to watch this one before I went work, the second one after I went work, and we did the record straight after us, the second one. I thought, no, I'm tired, I'm going to just watch both simultaneously. So as I was doing that, it's like, there's a steel cage into it. So I'm like, there's a steel cage to not. So to me, it was like it was a bit badly placed. Perhaps leave the announcement for the next week, maybe. But yeah, it'll be a good match. I'll say that much.
Yeah, no, it all came about in a backstage interview between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I think is her name. I can never remember. But it was kind of asking why was Raquel there? Why did she get involved in Portland? And it's basically said she basically said that Nox didn't have the back of Dakota, so she's going to have it instead. And then William Regal just wanders up, announces the steel cage match, and Dakota Kai looks like she wants to cry. And Tegan Nox wasn't even there. She wasn't even on screen anywhere. And her responses on Twitter have been brilliant because it's like, it was nice to have been told.
Well, definitely. Do you think the cage will look anywhere near as good as the one they have for AEW?
No. I really hope they do a yellow cage though for NXT. I think, if I'm right, there's only been one cage match, and that was Joe and Balor. No, there's been two. There was another one, I think. No,
I can only think of Joe and Balor. I don't know what the other one is.
I swear there was another women's one. There might have been. There's a voice in my head that's just told me it was Ty Dillinger and Eric Young, which definitely wasn't the cage match I was thinking of. I thought there was a different one. But yeah, Ty Dillinger.
But she can't.
No, I was right. There was one. It was Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
That was on NXT TV back in June of last year. I thought there was a women's one. So this is the second ever women's steel cage match we're getting in 2 weeks' time on NXT, which will be the NXT following Revolution. So that'd be that. That's pretty cool. We got it's cruiserweight title match between Jordan Devlin and Lio Rush. What really makes me laugh is Jordan Devlin won this. I don't think it was a given that he won this because it's Jordan Devlin, and NXT UK takeover is in Dublin in 2 months, so he's definitely going to hold the title till then because he's from there. What I find funny about this is if you go onto WWE's YouTube channel, and they obviously have all the highlights of everything that goes on with their shows, they've got a backstage thing that it literally just says Lio Rush lashes out at Tyler Breeze. The context of that video is him being interviewed by someone, him saying, he just had, he was a better man tonight. Breeze walks over, says, good match. Happens to the best of us. We don't always win, but it's a really good match. And he literally just goes, get out of my face, and walks off. How is that anyone lashing out?
Well, exactly. It's mislabeling a video, but WWE do this a fair bit. But what I'm going to say was this match was match of the night, but I'm going to disagree with you on the fact that I thought Jordan Devlin was going to win because for me, I had the strongest feeling that Jordan Devlin is going to be going against Volta for the UK Championship.
Oh.
If you've looked at Twitter at all, he's been teasing it a lot. So
it's because he's never been able to beat him, hasn't he? I know.
No, he's beat him a couple of times in OTT, but he's trying because it's in Ireland. He's trying to make reference to their Irish rivalry. So I can see that happening, but that's why I was surprised by the result tonight. But it was a good match regardless. It was the best match of the night, I thought.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It could be a TNA sort of thing where they used to hand in the X Division title to receive a world title shot. They may just unify the pair of them, or Devlin will lose it at some point. But yeah, if that's the case, I would like to see that. I wouldn't want to see another Joe Coffey against Alter match, because we've seen that like 4 times. Probably be Ilya Dragunov if not. Last night, speaking of English wrestlers, the grizzled young veterans were on NXT, defeating Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, and it looks like GYV are staying in America and staying on main NXT.
Well, yeah, he said UK's here to take over. I forget what he says, but he's in the Scouse voice. He's saying like. UK's number one, soon to be the world. Soon to be recognised as the world's number one. It's great. Accent, unfortunately. I love hearing that. Yeah, go on, you go.
I never used to like Zach Gibson, but he's really growing on me. James Drake as well is one of the most underrated wrestlers because he never speaks. It's like the mouthpiece of the tag team is Zach Gibson. The face of the tag team is Zach Gibson because he's the gobby one, and James Drake is just the one in the background doing all the good wrestling. Oh,
definitely, yeah. But which one's got his own face on his ass? That's James Drake.
Yeah, James Drake is his own face on his ass.
Right, okay. Because I always get my names mixed up in tag teams. Yeah, James Drake is by far the better wrestler, but Zach Gibson is by far the better talker. So they complement each other perfectly.
Yeah, they do very nicely. We did get Chelsea Green versus Ken Carter. It's like the reboot of Robert Stone Enterprise, whatever he's calling it. Robert Stone Productions, whatever he's calling his stable. I'm going to put this in inverted commas because it's only him and Chelsea at the moment. Midway through Chelsea and Kane's match, Bianca Belair just walks into the ring with a microphone in her hand. Says, carry on, it's fine. And calls out Charlotte. I saw earlier today on the Twitter that Rhea Ripley wants Bianca in that triple threat match. I don't know if that's Rhea Ripley in character or Rhea Ripley outside of character, but I think the way that it's all gone down, we're getting this triple threat match because Bianca Belair thoroughly deserves it to be in that position.
Well, Bianca Belair's done a lot of promotion at the minute outside of WWE. She was on Lillian Garcia's podcast this week. She's had a great big feature on the PC channel. So I'm using a bit of my speculative head here, but I can definitely see Bianca Belair being added into the match in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, I can as well. Chelsea Green did end up defeating Caden Carter in a relatively lackluster match. I'm
going to just make a point, though, about the NXT thing. Having her in the match, though, doesn't it kind of diminish Rhea a little bit? Like, say, Charlotte needs 2 NXT wrestlers to beat her.
Kind of and kind of not. I think the main reason they want Bianca in there is because of the attack from... Oh, my arm on my chair just fell off and hit me in the ankle. I think it's just having Bianca in there is because of the way that Charlotte's gone about it. I don't think it's a case of having to have 2 NXT wrestlers to defeat Charlotte, but I can see where you're coming from with that. Yeah,
just hope they don't dilute it too much. That's my only fear.
Yeah, but it's going to be a good build, and it's going to be a great match, in my opinion. And we also, last night, and like I said, Chelsea Green defeated Kaden Carter in a very lackluster match. As much as Chelsea Green is a very good wrestler in Impact, she hasn't had the best of time in WWE so far. And we also got a little promo from Finn Balor saying we'll find out next week what his next move is, and that NXT is his chessboard, which I think is a wonderful analogy from the Irish man. Before we move into AEW, I've got a word in mind. Brad, with the Brad weather forecast. Brad, please move over to you.
Thank you, mate. Right, so next week we've got Tommaso Ciampa versus Austin Theory. We've also got...
Ciampa's gonna kill you.
Definitely. Theory, he was a great prospect, but he needs something behind him a bit. But the next one is about a appearance by Finn Balor. He's going to announce his future, and I've got one for 2 weeks as well, which is Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai in a steel cage match. And that was set up at this week's NXT. So yeah, definitely tune in for that match, because I think that match will be quite hard hitting.
Yes, it's very exciting.
TWM podcasts are brought to you by We Love Sport, the fantastic app finding you your nearest sports bar showing the latest WWE pay-per-views. We Love Sport has over 400 of the best sports bars and pubs in the UK at your fingertips and allows you to book front row seats, giving you the best views of the action. You can also check out what sports are being shown over the next 7 days, making sure you don't miss a second of the action. Download the We Love Sport app on the App Store or Google Play Store. Follow We Love Sport on all social media platforms at We Love Sport UK and check out welovesport.co.
It's top 5 time with Brad Cassidy.
Okay, right, so I've got the men's division here for AEW. So this is prior to this week's AEW, bear in mind. So men's division, number 1 is Jon Moxley, number 2 is Cody Rhodes, number 3 is Pac, number 4 is Kenny Omega, number 5 is MJF. Women's, you've got number 1 is Riho, number 2 is Chris Statlander, number 3 is Hikaru Shida, number 4 is Yuka Sakazaki, number 5 is Britt Baker, and the tag teams, and yes, this has spoiled the result for tonight for me, but oh well. Number 1 is the Young Bucks, number 2 is SCU, number 3 is the Dark Order, number 4 is Santana and Ortiz, and number 5 is the Lucha Bros.
Number 5, Lucha Bros being given a tag title shot tonight. I love that. Well, as we spoke about in NXT, there's a cage match in 2 weeks, but last night there was a cage match between Wardlow and Cody Rhodes. The cage design is unbelievably good. It's like a Hell in a Cell mixed with a cage at the same time. It was so nice, so crisp, so clean, and refreshing as well, because it's completely different to anything we've seen from WWE, from NXT, from any indie promotion as well. The cage just looked very, very nice.
As an aside, I know this is a very, very minor point, but do you like how escaping the cage does not win you the match in this one?
Yes, because I always thought escaping the cage was like a coward's way of winning. Yeah, cheating, a coward's way of winning. So you wanted to get the pinfall there and then in the middle. And yeah, so the rules were no escape. It was pinfall or submission only to win. Wardlow obviously was accompanied by MJF. Cody in his hometown. Is he from Atlanta? No, he's not. He's from where is he from? Marietta. He's in his home state of Georgia. Not his hometown, because it was in Atlanta. And he was accompanied by Arn Anderson and his wife, Brandy. Really good match. Cody, for me, is becoming the new Ric Flair because he's got bleach blonde hair and he bleeds almost every hardcore match and his hair just turns red.
It's amazing. And Wardlow is the next, like Brock Lesnar, looking at him in that. He was absolutely dominating him, and it was only a very fluke win with he did an incredible flip off the top of the cage just to spoil the result. That he won. So
you got to have a set on you to want to do that back foot, because he literally moonsaulted, had no idea where Wardlow was, and you can see as he rotates to the point where his head's towards the floor and his body's starting to come round, you can see him looking down at the ring trying to find where Wardlow is so he knows where to land. But
that was high as well. It was higher than WWE cages, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it was just real. It was a really nice image as well to Cody standing on the top of the cage with blood all over his face and in his hair because he got cut open earlier in the match. A couple of inserts from the match itself. MJF at one point had given Wardlow the Diamond Dozen ring to use as a weapon on Cody. As Wardlow turns around, Cody just kicks him in the nuts and then takes the ring off his finger and hits him with it instead. So it's kind of the first time I've actually thought of the ring since he won it. So it's like a continuation. It's nice. It's like a continuation. I forgot he had that ring. At one point, MJF, literally just after that, MJF climbs on the side of the cage to try. It looks like he's trying to get in. Brandy grabs a chair, clips him on the back, and then clips him on the hip as well, which probably hurt a lot. MJF falls to his feet, to the floor, squares up to Brandy, looks like he's about to hit her, and then Arn just chucks him in the crowd.
Did you see when Arn Anderson went to hit Well, it looked like he was going to hit Cody like he did to Dusty, and then just back the cage and hit MJF. Right, okay. But during the match, Cody was trying to get out this. Well, he was pushed towards the side of the cell. Arn Anderson grabbed the cage, in like old school WCW. He was grabbing it like that, and then suddenly he just swings it the other way and smacks MJF, and it was like you wouldn't know if you'd you missed that part of the show, but it was like an old school throwback thing, and for an older fan that would have been like one of the best parts of the night. I thought it was very underrated.
I'm still on the side of Arn Anderson. At some point he's going to tell, but I can't figure out when. But Cody wins, which means AEW Revolution is going to be Cody versus MJF one-on-one. Currently, it is being billed as a singles match. I'm really hoping at some point we're going to get some stipulation added to it, because it's going to be really boring if we're going to get such a hotly contested feud between the two of them and we get some headlocks.
We've got another week left, though, and we've still got one stipulation that Cody can't touch MJF. So I feel that they're going to do something with that next week. I think he's going to try and antagonise him, and something's going to happen in that regard.
Yeah, it's a good storyline. It's keeping me drawn. I like it. Another good storyline that's keeping me drawn, my segues today are absolutely on point, is Kenny Omega and Adam Page, who last night defeated the Lucha Bros, despite various accidents between the two of them, colliding at various different points. But very good match between the two teams. I think this is the first time we've actually seen these two teams go ahead. Page accidentally hit Omega with the buckshot lariat, which is one of those things where you're thinking, oh, for God's sake, like this is going to come to a head a lot quicker. And then Kenny, as Kenny's literally about to end the match, he gets rocked, falls back onto the ropes, blind tag, but it's like one of those blind tags where it's like, I'm helping you out. Like, it's not like a blind tag that I'm gonna steal the glory. It's one of those like, yeah, I'm going to help you out. They hit their combination of a buckshot lariat and a V trigger for the win, and then the Bucks come down to check on Omega. Page leaves to go have a beer.
I think Kenny's going to turn.
I like Matt's theory that Kenny's actually the leader of the Dark Order.
No, it's not that. I think that Kenny's going to end up helping the Young Bucks win the tag championships. He's going to just turn on Adam Page. Everyone thought it was going to be Hangman Page that's going to, become the bad guy, but no, I'm dead set. It's going to be Kenny and the Young Bucks now. Yeah, no,
I am very excited for the match that they've got coming up at Revolution, because a brilliant segue again by Brad. There, we're both on form tonight. Young Bucks last night won the tag team battle royal. I love this battle royal for the point both members of the team had to be eliminated for the team to go. WWE style ones, one member goes, the other one's just got to get out of the ring. This time, you have both members had to be eliminated. So it was a 20-man over-the-top rope battle royal. The teams were as follows. Best Friends, represented by obviously Chuck Taylor and Trent. The Butcher and the Blade. The Dark Order, represented by Alex Reynolds and John Silver. H2 is Angelico and Jack Evans. Jurassic Express, which was Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Private Party, obviously Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. Santana and Ortiz. SoCal Uncensored, represented by Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. And Strong Hearts, who we haven't seen for a while, obviously Seema and T-Hawk. So, with that stipulation that both members had to be eliminated, it left us in some really interesting situations. At one point, Matt Jackson was on his own, as Nick had been eliminated, and Chuck Taylor had been eliminated as well. Him and Trent at one point had sort of teamed up. Big hug between the two of them, whacking out some super kicks. So they managed to sort of team up within themselves to defeat I think it was at that point, the Butcher, the Blade, Santana Ortiz, and someone else, I can't remember who the other one was. The Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu were in the crowd, and their other guy, they're like hype man who does talking for them. I can't remember his name. He was there saying how funny it was. There was no Christopher Daniels there to support SoCal Uncensored, which distracted SoCal Uncensored to the point they got eliminated. We also got Seema eliminated. They offered Seema a mask, and he accepted it and left for the crowd. So Seema's joined the Dark Order.
Before we move on, though, because I'm worried that you won't mention it, did you know Raven was in the crowd during this?
I did. I was getting to that. Yeah, Raven was in the crowd. I think they are trying to do that as a fake out for the Exalted leader or the Exalted one, because commentary didn't even mention him. They didn't. because I think there was a point where they put a camera on him. Jim Ross was about to say it, and it's like someone in his ear went, "Jim, don't you fucking say it!" Like, I think that's what
it's Matt Hardy. It's Matt Hardy, but it was tasteless. And also Matt Jackson in that match reminded me of Shawn Michaels during a Royal Rumble. The way he was at the end of it with the last three. It was 1995 Shawn Michaels, and it was beautiful. I love that match so much.
Brad, who's your favourite Buck, Matt or Nick?
It's got to be Matt. I think they're like the Hardys, aren't they? A little bit, them too. But Matt's more. Matt reminds me more of Shawn Michaels, and that can only be a good thing. Yeah,
I can't decide. They are both a lovely human being. Nick's flippy. Matt's just a better character. His facial expressions and his storytelling is a little bit better than Nick's. We also last night in this tag team battle royal, Orange Cassidy was on the outside, supporting his boys, the Best Friends. He caught Chucky T. No, it wasn't. It was Trent. He caught Trent on his shoulders and got him back into the ring. And there was a point where you had the Butcher. Which one's the one with the mustache? That's the Butcher, isn't it?
I think that's. I don't know which one it is. That's Andy Williams from Every Time I Die.
Yeah, it is the Butcher. He's the Butcher. There was a point. Yeah, we got them two battering each other on the apron. Orange Cassidy sort of walks over, puts his hands out by Chucky T to try and by Trent to catch him. And then Trent sort of gets back into the fight in the sense where he stops, puts his hands in his pockets. The bunny comes over, looks at him, and kicks him in the nuts, and then Trent gets knocked out. It was a nice bit of character work, and as Matt alluded to, with Matt Jackson's performance was a little bit like a Shawn Michaels, because at the end of it, he was 3-on-1 against the Butcher and Santana Ortiz. He eliminated the Butcher and managed to eliminate both Santana and Ortiz, who also had Sammy Guevara on the outside, who was just being a little shitbag like he always is and getting involved. And he just did so well. However, Matt Jackson has switched up his super kick, and it's really weird to see someone doing it with their left leg. Because everyone's go-to for a super kick is their right leg.
Is he left?
No, I don't think he is.
He left it. Oh, right, okay. No, I've not noticed that. I didn't actually notice that, to be fair, but yeah.
Because I'm left-handed, but if I was to ever mimic a super kick, I was doing obviously watching Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler and everyone else that does it. You sort of go for your right leg. But it's just the way he does it. He shifts his body weight onto his onto his right to hit with his left. So he hit one on on Ortiz, which knocked him out of the ring. He hit one on Santana, and then he hit one on Guevara, who springboarded in and then eliminated Santana. And yeah, I'm very excited for that match because, like Brad alluded to, this storyline is building to this massive point of who's going to turn Kenny or Adam. And yeah, it's great storytelling. It was a great match. What else did we get last night? Chris Statlander and the return of Shanna. Shanna came back. Chris Statlander defeated Shanna. And then we also got a promo from Nyla Rose, who basically just bigged herself up for a little bit. She talked herself up. And then she's interrupted by Chris Statlander and by... I forgot who the other one was.
Well, Britt Baker was on the outside doing the...
Britt Baker was on commentary for the match. Who was the... Big Swole, that's the one. Big Swole came out, and Chris Statlander looked like she was about to do the boot on the nose of Nyla Rose, but instead points at the title. Who would you like to see go on to Revolution to face Nyla Rose for the title?
None of these, because honestly, this match, honestly, I swore they went for about 6 minutes without even.
It was like a comedy match. It was like a refresh comedy match after the tag title battle royal.
It just felt really sloppy, if I'm being honest. Britt Baker, I want to see go against Riho because it makes the most logical sense.
Nyla Rose.
Sorry. Nyla Rose, sorry, yeah, last week she lost, didn't she? Yeah, no, against Nyla Rose, yeah. I think Britt Baker makes the most sense, but these two need a lot of work. I think it's mainly Shanna as well, if I'm being harsh. I think Chris Statlander has shown that she can work with quite good people. Like Shanna, a good match with Big Swole, but Shanna's yet to do anything that's making me go, oh yeah, I need to keep an eye out for her in-ring work.
Yeah, I think Britt Baker is probably one of the most likely, but the thing is she's a heel, which is the pain. She brought Tony Schiavone a coffee cup, which was quite cute, but they spelled his name wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't get her. I don't know if she hates him or what else we got last night? We got the debut of Jeff Cobb, and I wanted to now instead of earlier Did you think that AEW backed themselves? AEW. I thought I got the wrong promotion then. AEW. Did you think they backed themselves into a corner by having both debuts of Wardlow and Jeff Cobb on the same show in matches where, if they were to win, it would have harmed a storyline, and if they were to lose, it would have harmed their progression?
Well, Jeff Cobb, no. Actually, no for both of them, because the hired guns, they can be hired again. Jeff Cobb especially, because he's not actually contracted to AEW. He is scheduled to do more shows, but he's not contracted to them. But I know this is last week, and I know, like, obviously you and Matt probably talked about this in the past, but the way they introduced him was a bit rubbish. Like, this match could have been a lot better if they hadn't just thrown in saying, "Oh yeah, Jeff Cobb's on next week." Like, yeah, it would have been a lot better if he just came out, I think. Yeah,
I said that as well. Or even if they hadn't announced appeared and attacked him last week. But yeah, the match was really good between Moxley and Jeff Cobb. And I suppose the finish of the match, Moxley pinning him with a roll-up, shows Moxley got lucky. And it doesn't look like they buried Jeff Cobb before he's even got his feet under the carpet, in a sense.
Oh yeah, but Jeff Cobb isn't actually an AEW wrestler, so but
they want to build his momentum now.
Oh yeah, so in case he does sign, yeah, definitely. But after the match, I thought that they built very well into the next pay-per-view. They built 3 matches here after the end of this match, actually.
They did. It was really, really good. So the second that Moxley picks up the 3 count, the Inner Circle bomb the ring. They were all in the 3 of them were in the crowd to have Guevara and Jericho. Jericho kept saying, "I've got a ticket," and he kept going on about it. But they were in the crowd. The second that the bell rings, they absolutely swarm the ring and mob Moxley. They beat him down. Out comes Dustin Rhodes, who obviously has an issue with Jake Hager, to try and make a save, even on numbers on a 4-on-1, but it just didn't happen. He got taken out as well. The lights go dark. They go darker. Darby Allin returns after being injured at the hands of the Inner Circle. Skateboards down to the ramp. All 4 members of the Inner Circle sort of staring at him, like thinking he wouldn't come back. Guevara looks horrified because obviously it was him that took him out. And Darby Allin basically takes out the entirety of the Inner Circle with his skateboard. We got a big clothesline from Dustin Rhodes, and then we got the it was like I can't think of what to call it. It was like him doing an ollie on the back of someone, on the back of, I think it was Cobb, and then which went into the paradigm shift from Moxley. Moxley, I said this about the Brosweights, and they're the tag team we never knew we wanted. For me, Darby Allin and John Moxley was a partnership I never knew I wanted.
No, but it's one that's amazing. I think him against Guevara at Revolution as well. The 2 of them will be, an incredible match. Has that actually even been officially announced? I mean, it's obviously going to happen, but
I'm literally just checking now. If you bear with me, I'm just going onto my web browser. No, it has not. The current card is Hager and Dustin Rhodes, which was announced last week. The tag title match, the world title match, and MJF and Cody. So they haven't actually announced that yet, but we will get Allin and Guevara at some point.
Definitely, the 2 of them will be, very, very. I think they'll do a lot more of the high flying than anyone else on that card as well. So it'll be a match to stand out Revolution by far.
Yeah, I noticed this week as well, and I Riddle. I'm comparing the 2 of them. I said about last week, Matt Riddle reminds me of Steve-O because the way he talks, the way his mannerisms and stuff like that. For me, Sammy Guevara actually looks like him. When he's got his hat on, when he's got his sunglasses on, and when he's bringing a cocky little arse hat, he really looks like Steve-O from Jackass. I don't know why.
Yeah. I guess, I can see why with Matt Riddle, because him and his trophy. Oh, I can't believe you didn't mention this on the NXT, but him and his trophy failing the wellness test. I can see why he'd be compared to that. But I don't see him
looks like him
with Guevara. No, I don't. I
think he looks like him. I will beat you to news for AEW though, because did you see who was spotted backstage?
No, he was spotted backstage.
Double A. Austin Aries was pictured at AEW last night via a fan through a chain link fence getting out of a car.
I didn't actually catch this piece of news, so well done on that one. That's going to be exciting. They're doing. I think. Why do you think Austin Aries would be there though?
He's not signed with anyone. He did some stuff with MLW and disappeared after his whole debacle with TNA or Impact. So I think he'd be he's one of those big names that's quite versatile that could slot into their like title pictures and that sort of stuff. And if they do want to get a mid-card title in, he's another big name you can chuck into that division and that can elevate it with all of the younger talent they've got at the moment.
I can see that, yeah, definitely. But I hope they don't dilute it because Brody Lee's coming soon as well. So and Matt Hardy. So I hope they just don't dilute the whole mid-card scene before they even get off the ground. But Austin Aries as would be a huge name. Well, I'm going to round things off with some news here, but the first two pieces of news aren't actually about the show. They're about AEW, but they're not about the show. Have you seen that they've got new action figures coming out?
Yeah, I saw this earlier today. It was a video on Twitter, I think I saw it, and it was them showing action figures of Omega, the Bucks, Cody, Brandy, and Jericho. Brandy started crying at this, obviously, as you would. You're having your body immersed in plastic in a sense. But the ones for the Bucks look so good.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I'm just thinking though, if we bought them now when they're like £20, how much do you reckon we could flog them for and like sort of buy the
thing? The first ever action figures for AEW. I mean, yeah, I suppose actually you could probably make some good money off that.
Yeah, but the next one as well is the AEW is actually creating its own podcast, and the first episode is actually out today. It's called AEW Unrestricted, and the first interviews with Jon Moxley. So make sure you go listen to that for a bit of behind the scenes stuff for AEW. They've
been doing multiple things. I mean, they do their top 5 for the week. I wonder who else does top 5s and 10s.
UFC, and that's all I can think of. I can't think of a wrestling company that does it.
I mean, WWE do it.
Do they? I don't
on their YouTube channel, they do top 10 moments for Raw and SmackDown T. And they've also, I noticed this, I saw this on that they've ripped off a couple of WWE T-shirts. With Guevara's T-shirt is a rip-off of the Monday Night Messiah. And I think it's Britt Baker's a rip-off of Bayley's because it's like, Britt Baker's my role model and Bayley's my role model. Yeah. But each to their own.
Each to their own, indeed. But yeah, as we've announced before, tag team title match for AEW Revolution is the Young Bucks versus Omega and Hangman. And next week's Dynamite, before we get too far into it, is a 30-minute Ironman match between Pac and Kenny Omega.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That will be next week.
So good.
There will also be a weigh-in between Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley, and another announced match is the Best Friends versus the Butcher and the Blade, and that's it for this sort of week.
TWM Podcasts have joined forces with WrestleCrate, the original and best monthly theme, monthly wrestling subscription service to bring you a fantastic deal. If you use the code TWM Wrestling when you sign up to a monthly subscription at WrestleCrate.co.uk, you will receive a free item in your first month's box. Then, if you stay for another month, you'll get a second free item. And then, if you stay for a third month, you guessed it, we'll give you a third free item. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. WrestleCrate brings you the best swag from the biggest companies and names in the wrestling world. We're talking t-shirts, photos, pins, DVDs, vinyl figures, and loads more from WWE, Progress, Shakara, NXT, Fight Club Pro, and loads more. That's WrestleCrate.co.uk and use the code TWM Wrestling for up to free items, all thanks to WrestleCrate and TWM.
Off air, I received death threats that if I said NXT was better than AEW, I would no longer work for TWM and I wouldn't have my life back. So, Brad, can you say NXT was better? I'm kidding. Who do you reckon? Who won? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I will ask who won.
Well, it's the first week I've done split screen, so I'm going to just go from that period. And 80% of the time I was watching AEW, so AEW.
That's a good way of testing it, to be fair, watching both shows. Wait, how did you do the sound? Didn't they just put the sound play at the same time?
Basically, I played one, muted the other, and then I unmuted one whenever something interesting was on, or whenever there was a promo one.
Fair. Yeah, I will say AEW did win. despite the fact that we got nice continuation from Portland in Ciampa and Gargano, Roddy and Dream, and Keith and Dominic. And then we also got the announcement of the steel cage match and that sort of stuff, and GYV and Bianca Belair. Storyline-wise and continuation of stuff for NXT was very good. AEW storytelling in-ring was just on another level. Cody and MJF storyline reaching the next level as Cody basically beaten odds number 2. As we said, the Lashes, now he's at the cage match. He's done it in his home state, which got just the most horrendous, the most ridiculous pop. We got the continuation of Omega and Page and who's going to turn there. And now we've got the inclusion of their match against the Young Bucks and their one former friend and current friend. Got the Dark Order recruiting another person. Raven being teased as the Exalted One. Women's division stuff happening, return of Darby Allin. AEW, you did win. You did well done. You have my vote for the first time in about 5-6 weeks. Well done. It's all fun and games here, Brad. Great couple of shows though.
NXT I thought was troubling along. But I think when we get to that steel cage match in 2 weeks, that's when we'll get the real stuff.
That is going to be, and that is that for the Wednesday Night Wars podcast this week. Do go over to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow us at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, YouTube. Head over to WrestleCrate.co.uk. Use the code TWM Wrestling to receive yourself one free autographed item. Sign up for a second month, you get another one. Sign up for a third month, and you get another one. We're knocking this stuff out of the park. Also go over to the App Store, whether it be Google or Apple, download yourself the We Love Sport app so you can go find your local bar and watch a bit of wrestling. Brad, what is your social media?
My social media is at Broadcasty170, and just look up my name on the website and you'll see all the articles and every episode of this show that I've been on.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter at George_Geal_. Head over to and you can read yourself some articles. Hold on, I'm just going to grab up the list so we can let you know what has been going on. We had reviews both in podcast form by myself, Joe, Tom, and Matt, and we also had an article by Shalene for NXT TakeOver Portland. We've got a Kofi Mania 1 year on by Victoria. It's crazy to think that started a year ago. We have had a TWM talk with Shirley, with Joey Ryan. It was a typed out article, which was pretty cool. We've had a lot of reviews and so a lot have been looking back this week. We had Sold Out 2000 by Reese, and that was a review of the WCW pay-per-view. We had a Ron Simmons retrospective by Adam. We had a looking back at the road to WrestleMania 27 by James, which went out on Monday. We had a New Japan Road preview by Kieran, and then coming up tomorrow, you've got a preview of Progress Chapter 103, which I will be at in Camden on Sunday, and you've got my article, which is Wrestling's Best Real-Life Couples, to couple with my Valentine's article, Best On-Screen Couples, because Richard didn't. Oh yeah, and there's an article that Tom's doing, which is matches we want to the GYV in NXT. Wrestling is always fun. We love the Wednesday Night Wars podcast. Like I say, go over to the website, follow us on Twitter at TWM Wrestle, and myself and Brad. And until next week, guys, I'll see you all later.